The Utah Mammoth is sorta proud to present NASHCAST.
What the is a NASHCAST?
NASHCAST, the only hockey show on the planet. Hosted by a human speed bag, fourth line wannabe, healthy scratch, schnozzy moto, Tyson Nash.
Who the hell is Tyson Nash?
Never heard of him.
And the baritone with a brain, the velvet hammer, Mr. Silky, Tono Suave, the radio voice of your Utah Mammoth,
Go Blue!
Mike Folta.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
NASHCAST begins now.
Ready for takeoff.
Here's Tyler Ganoush and Mickey Foghorn. Wait, what? Oh, here's Tyson Nash and Mike Folta.
Folks, feeling good, brother. Holy, it's good to see that smiling face of yours. The team is on fire. They've won 3 straight. What's not to smile about, right? I mean, life could not be better in Salt Lake where you're at.
And we're home finally. It's the middle of a 7-game homestand for the Utah Mammoth. So finally got to go get groceries, all that stuff. Got a few ski runs in. Nasher, you've been proud of me. Oh, I was buzzing. Me and Adrian Denny, we went to Brighton, and Adrian goes about 30 times a year, right? Like he grew up in Utah. He's an assassin. I'm from flat Earth Midwest, and so I'm still learning it. And I thought I did pretty well until the last run, and Nasher, I'm just getting bumped around, right? And my legs are already jello because we've been out there for a couple hours, and I just eat it. I mean, face down, skis go flying, just skidding on my face, goggles full of snow for 50 yards. It was a blast. I don't mind wrecking. I know, like you, when you played, you didn't mind banging bodies, but I just don't want to hit anybody else. That's my only goal, is not to hurt anybody else. I don't care if I get hurt, just don't hurt anybody else. But life is good right now. Where are you at right now? You're on the road.
I am in my favorite NHL city ever. It's always about Montreal, right? I'm in Montreal, Quebec. Life is good. We got a game tomorrow night, Montreal versus the Vancouver Canucks. There's nothing better, really. I mean, it's hockey weather, first of all. Their culture, it's like you're almost in Europe, right? Just how everyone dresses. They're all done to the nines. I mean, looking good. The food, I cannot wait for dinner tonight. Gonna smoke a couple cigars, have a few cocktails, and toss those smiles around in Montreal. So it doesn't get better than that. I'm jealous though, because I love to ski. So I hope you guys are figuring it out, because when I get back to Salt Lake, buddy, we are hitting the slopes. I cannot wait. I love to ski, and I'm not a technical guy. I'm strapped the skis on, throw the rockets on, light them up, and go. I am full speed snotsicle. I got snot coming down my face, frozen, and the tears are rolling. That's how I ski. So I hope you're ready.
So are you good? Are you doing black diamonds and double blacks and stuff, and you just shoot down them?
I do them, but it's zero technical. There's no skis together going down the slopes. I go literally. We had a lockout one time, and we had a big charity event up in Aspen. And Aspen, the mountain, is one of the steepest mountains you'll ever go on. And it was me, Brad May, and Shane Doan. And we were like, all right, there's no stopping. You can't stop and you can't turn. You got to go straight down the hill. And literally, we were the biggest idiots on the planet Earth. Some of the wipeouts we had, dude, were much like the one you just described, just crazy. But I love it. I'm a total adrenaline junkie. The faster, the better. But it's not pretty to watch.
Yeah, that's my core memories are skiing at Snow Basin in Utah, and I was a super shy kid, but I remember just what you said, just shooting straight down the mountain. And one time I skied onto a brick patio where people were sitting outside the lodge, because I didn't know how to stop, so I skied onto
right into the chalet.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, as a 5-year-old, I skied right up to the bar. But Yeah, no, it's so much fun, and we're finally getting snow. But speaking of snow, speaking of getting outside, this is the first Nashcast we're recording since the big announcement that we had last week, last Wednesday, where Gary Bettman came to the Wasatch Front and him along with Ryan Smith and Ashley Smith announced that the 2027 Winter Classic is going to come to the great state of Utah. Tyson, like, I mean, what can you even say? Like, this is huge news for the organization, for the team, for the state, for the NHL. Like, it was such a cool day, that announcement, and I still am finding myself looking forward to something that's a year away.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I've been in the league a long time, and I think I heard you guys talking on the broadcast the other night. Like, Dom's been in 3 Winter Classics. I've never been in one, not even a sniff. And so when I break this down, I'm like, all right, what happened? Like, 2 years in the league, like this is kind of a kind of a joke, right? Gets a Winter Classic right out of the gate. But this is what I'll say. This is what happens. This is what happens when you do everything right, right? When you're an owner, Ashley and Ryan Smith, and you do everything right, the commissioner and the National Hockey League, they reward you with one of the biggest events that we have, right? And because they've done everything well, because the fans, because of the community and everything we're trying to create in Utah, it is the perfect, absolute perfect fit for a Winter Classic game. And the backdrop, folks, I mean, I know you're there, you're up skiing. For people to come and watch this Winter Classic, they are in for a treat. Downtown's like 7 or 8 minutes from the airport. 30 minutes, you got Park City and Deer Valley. Like, the backdrop of this game is going to be like none we've ever had. I mean, we've had some real cool ones, the stadiums, the history, all that stuff, but I don't think we've ever had a backdrop like they're going to have in Utah. So I cannot wait.
They tried to do an outdoor game in Colorado, and it was like 65 degrees when they had it at Coors Field, where the Colorado Rockies play. So hopefully we have snow. Hopefully it's cold. Tyson, did you? I mean, you're an Edmonton guy. Like, I'm assuming you grew up playing on the ODR or Frozen River or something like that, right? Can you fill us in on what it's like to play outside and go back to like the roots of the game?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because there's two real methods, right? You go out onto a lake or a river, whatever it is, whatever's frozen, and there was a lot of them in Edmonton where I grew up. So that was always kind of cool, except it was more just about skating and ripping around and passing the puck and because now you're dealing with snowbanks, right? So you take a shot and usually there's just two boots, right? Those are the nets, right? And you're digging pucks out of snowbanks. So in ways it can be a real pain in the ass because you're but if you just want to get out and just free for all and just skate and freewheel, the lake is a real cool spot. I loved obviously playing the games. I loved throwing the sticks in the middle. One guy would go in and blue, white, and you make your team up, and you got boards and you got nets, and that was more of a cool thing for me. And I was always a younger guy, so when you get out in the outdoor rink, it's like you're one of the youngest guys and you're playing against high schoolers. And so you had to step up your game, right? Like you always knew my brother, I play against him all the time. So you didn't want to let anyone down being the younger kid on the ice, but there's nothing like it. The smell, the cold air, the frozen hands and toes, like there's something to it. And then they got better as we went along. Then all of a sudden there were shacks, right? So you go in the shack and there'd be a fire going and you'd have your hot chocolate that your mom made you and maybe a little snack, you know. But when I first started, it was literally you got your stick and your skates over your shoulder and you're bundled up and you're literally sitting in a snowbank doing your skates up, right? You got half a pound of snow in your skates. Like it's the transition from your boot to the skate and then back from the skate to the boot. I mean, it's just it's awful, but it's the best thing in the world. It's my childhood. Literally, it's my childhood.
I can relate to that a little bit. Not like we didn't play on any frozen water, but just like playing in the street when it snowed, right? Like you missed the net, you're chasing it all the way down the street. I'm sure it's the same way, like like
Car.
like on the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, car, exactly, exactly. So, but as far as like ice conditions go, I think there's a lot of us who probably in Utah haven't skated on the ODR outdoor rink. That's ODR if you don't know, but like, does it feel the same? Because if it's really really cold, the ice gets really, really slick. Or I guess slick's the wrong word because that implies being wet, but the puck's gonna move even faster on a rink that's really cold, right?
Yeah, the glide is so much better. We call it jet ice, right? And Edmonton always had it in their building, right? They always had the best ice in the National Hockey League. But yeah, when you go outdoors, it's different. I mean, it's every rink is different too. You don't have a lot of people. There's no zambonis, right? So you're just throwing a hose out there and shoveling it. So it can get chunky, it can get rough. I think that's the biggest thing. Sometimes when you zip a puck across the ice, the puck just hits a divot and shoots up in the air and takes out your two front teeth. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous, but again, there's nothing like it. Going out there with your buddies, your cheeks are all rosy red, and just the exercise. There was no phones back then, right? These phones are from the devil, man. I'm telling you, the social media, the garbage that we just absolutely fill our brains with is just awful compared to the childhood that I had, right? I mean, I was feel so blessed and so fortunate. So,
What one of these phones? Is that what
oh
you had in
yeah,
your home?
yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, they're awesome. No pay phones anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
call and collect is not a thing either. So anyway, I feel blessed. I just wish the kids did more of it.
Well, we're gonna get a big taste of it coming next year. So exciting things for the Utah Mammoth, and we'll continue to hear more about the details and things like that. It was pretty funny in the press conference. One of the first questions asked was, "Are they going to be allowed to sell alcohol at the at the venue? Because they don't sell booze there for University of Utah football games." And a school representative came out and was like, "Yeah, we'll sell alcoholic drinks, things like that." But some more Utah, or some more Mammoth news, Tyson. Crazy stat. Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller just passed Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat as the two U.S. skaters who have combined for the most goals in NHL history. Like, there's been no two Americans that have combined for as many goals as Keller and Schmaltz. And when I say combined, I mean one has assisted on the other's goal. That's crazy. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that milestone was coming up.
Yeah, yeah, it almost makes you wonder if they actually calculated back in the day, right? If you could, I don't know what the analytics, I don't know how they get them, how they produce them, but I mean, if that's true, that's absolutely mind-boggling when you think of all the great Americans that played this game, right? I mean, you look at Jeremy Roenick, you look at Keith Kachuk, you look at Doug Waite. Yeah, I mean, those are pretty significant names, right? Definitely a lot bigger than Schmaltz and Keller, but together, Schmaltz and Keller, I mean, I've said it for years. They're like Batman and Robin. The chemistry that those two
Yeah.
guys, it's like they share the same brain, right? And again, this year, like, the last five or six, they're doing some serious damage. And it's fun to watch. I know you guys have won three straight. And it's more than that, right? I think it was really imperative that they needed to win, and they are. And that's something for me, Fultz, that
Yeah.
hasn't happened consistently enough for this hockey club. They're now in a playoff spot, and they got a pretty friendly schedule. So as much as we complained about the schedule at the start of the year, now it's like ding ding, right? Now you have to make it count.
We've seen Keller and Schmaltz play together for virtually the entire year, most of last year, going back to Arizona. Nasher, if you're the third guy on that line, what are you trying to do? Like, what are you thinking going into these games?
Just get out of the way. Stay out of the way. Just don't get in the way of that chemistry that they have. And I think that's why Barrett Hayden had so much success over the years playing with those two because he knew his role. He knew his job. He knew he wasn't going to be a Schmaltz or a Keller. He was going to be a guy that went in the corner and dug the puck out and gave it to them to do what they do best, right? Net front presence, be a thorn in the side, be a screen in front. So a lot of those goals and assists that those two guys get, a guy like Barrett Hayden flies under the radar and he's kind of the unsung hero guy on that line, but
Yeah.
certainly not forgotten by the coaches and certainly not by Keller and Schmaltz because of, all the dirty work that, Barrett does and has
Yeah.
done for a long, long time. So, again, I hope they stay hot because they're going to need those guys down the stretch. And, again, I can't say enough about Keller too. How excited I am that he made Team USA, the impact I think that he's going to have because ultimately you want to get to the playoffs, and this team really hasn't gotten to the playoffs. I've never seen Clayton Keller in the playoffs, doing his thing. So how is he going to manage that pressure, that stress? And I know obviously his dad's smiling down upon him with a big, big grin for sure.
Yeah, he talked about how much that meant to him and his family to be named to Team USA. But speaking of Americans and speaking of guys who are not afraid to do the dirty work, we should mention our guest here on this episode, Cam Janssen, St. Louis native, and a guy I know that you know well, Tyson. But it was great to hear from him on his origin story, getting into hockey, and how he made a career in the NHL, being being a nail gun in a time when there were a bunch of tough guys.
Oh yeah, and he's not a big guy. And when you look at him, he's a thick guy. He's built like a fire hydrant, but he literally like fought everyone, anyone and everyone. His road to the National Hockey League. He talks about that, but he doesn't say he's not a St. Louis native. He's a Eureka. He is so proud of his hometown, Eureka, Illinois. And I'm like, first of all, who names your city Eureka? Like that could possibly be the worst name I've ever heard for a
There,
city. Am I wrong?
there, the guy who invent. Okay, so Eureka is a town in Utah. The
It's a vacuum.
I think the guy who invented the Zamboni is from
Oh, really?
Eureka, Utah. I'm pretty
No way.
sure. Yeah.
No
I'm
way.
just throwing this out there, and I could get lit up in the comments from this, but I'm pretty sure the like Frank Zamboni, or the guy who like invented the ice resurfacer, is from Eureka, Utah.
No
I
way. I
think
thought
that's
that was like a
legit.
vacuum. I thought it was a vacuum, a Zamboni. That's
Oh
next
man, I
level,
don't know.
folks. That,
Let
that's
me have
next
my
level.
day. Don't let the
Yeah.
facts get in the way of a good story.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this one because I'll tell you what, like how he got into hockey, his dad took him down to because St. Louis is a baseball town, right? And a football town
Yep.
when he was growing up. The Rams won the Super Bowl. I was a part of that back then. I don't want to age myself, but he went to his first ever game and he said it was the coolest thing in the world. He had glass seats, and the first guy he sees is Brett Hull flying out on the ice. He's got the mullet, the golden hair. He's scoring goals. He's barely cheering. And then he sees one of the best fights he's ever seen with Tony Twist. His equipment jersey comes off, shoulder pads come off. He sees the big Tony the Tiger tattoo on his arm, and he's like, "Oh my God, forget baseball and football. I want to do this. I want to play hockey. I want to beat people up for a living and have 18,000 people cheering for me." So anyway, it was great to talk to him. As you know, folks, the best part of our job is doing the research, right? Learning about everyone's journey because it always looks different for everybody. But Cam Janssen, I got a hell of a lot of respect for this guy. But he could also play a little bit in the fact that he wasn't just a tough guy. He could hit like an absolute truck, like a machine. This guy buried people. And that's when the fights would start to come, right? And I think that also helped him because I never loved the stage fights unless they were like the Bob Probert and Ty Domi, or like those type of heavyweight fights. But I don't like when guys stage them. So when you get pissed off,
Yeah.
you fight a lot better.
Well, let's get to pretty darn good fighter in Cam Janssen, and nothing like two tough guys throwing back stories. So here's Cam and Tyson.
Our next guest, another Devil. How about a Hall of Famer? How about voted one of the top 100 players to ever lace him up in the National Hockey League, Scott Niedermayer. 4 Stanley Cups, 3 with the Devils, 1 with the Ducks. He won a Conn Smythe. He won a Norris Trophy as well. This guy won 2 gold medals. The resume is long, and I cannot wait to have Scott Niedermayer on the show. And another tough guy, Mike Rupp in the house. Won a Stanley Cup back in 2003 in his first ever year in the National Hockey League as a rookie. Also a really, really tough dude. So I cannot wait for you guys to hear some of the stories here tonight. They're going to be flying off the shelves. I'm going to head to my chair, and apparently Cam Janssen is in the house. He's in the studio. He's ready for us. Let's go. All right, well, we got Cam Janssen in the house. Pride of St. Louis. Always a fan favorite everywhere he played, and he played A lot of places, I'll tell you that. Drafted in the 4th round by the Devils, played 336 games. How about almost 800 penalty minutes for Cam Janssen? That's a lot of 5-minute majors, I can tell you that. He's also a fellow alumni of mine with the St. Louis Blue. Another fan favorite with St. Louis. This guy was absolutely loved everywhere he went. So, Jance, my brother, welcome to the show. Looking good.
Am I? I'm sneezing all over the place, man. I think I'm getting sick. It's that time of the season. But I got to tell you, man, this has been very professional. That was a great intro. I like your setup. You look tan as usual. Looking good, my man. I look like Magda. This is like an old beef jerky suit I got on right now. An old leather bag, but it's a Gucci, Jance. It's a Gucci. So we know.
You're looking good there too, buddy. Where are you? What's going on? Are you back home in Eureka or what?
No, yeah. I mean, I'm not in Eureka anymore. We're in a golf course out in St. Albans. I don't know if you've ever played out there, but we bought a house like 6 years ago. So this is like my little area downstairs that I haven't really finished yet. So I just got a bunch of little things in the background. I painted it all black. We have a lot to work on in this house. So this is kind of the last thing. But yeah, man, I you know how I live way out. I'm not really from St. Louis. I got to consider myself from Eureka, because that's where I was born and raised and went to high school and all that stuff.
Jance, like all the names you could call your city, Eureka?
You know what that means?
You can't think of a worse name than that, can you?
Well, listen, it's very hilly, and the settlers back in the day came across, and finally they found this beautiful valley back in the late or early 1800s, and they said Eureka, like, oh, thank God, now we're finally able to set up shop because there was a valley there. So there's more to the story there, Nasher, just so you know.
I like it. I trust me. I'm only saying that because I'm, 3,000 miles away from you. Otherwise, I'd probably have my nose rearranged on the other side of my...
Don't piss them off. I'm telling you, those Eurekans, they'll get mad at you, man. They love you, but they'll get mad at you.
You were really calculated with your response there. I appreciate that. I respect that. But Jance, I gotta ask, buddy. So, are you the first ever? Like, I'm using AI sometimes. I'm diving deep into the research. Are you the first ever St. Louis kid to make the National Hockey League? Is that true?
Born and raised, yes, and played for the Blues as well. Now, Pat LaFontaine was born in St. Louis, but he left when he was 6 or 7 years old to go up to Michigan, I believe. So we don't count him, although we love him here because he does so much charity. He helps with different hospitals in St. Louis. So we love Pat LaFontaine. But when I was growing up with all my buddies playing hockey, because we got into hockey because of Hawley and Chaser and Twister, they put on a show in the early 90s, and all of us guys my age got into it. But no one was like, ooh, Pat LaFontaine made it. We can. No one's made it. I didn't even know what the Ontario Hockey League was until I got drafted by Windsor in the 3rd round. So we were aloof to everything, how to get from point A to point B to make it to the NHL here. So, yeah, born and raised, went to high school in Eureka. So I was the first one to make it and actually play for the Blues from St. Louis.
So, Jance, St. Louis is typically, it's a hockey town, no question, but it's a baseball town. How did you get into hockey? Was it really Twister, just going to one game and you were like, I want to do this?
Yes. My parents, listen, we lived way out there, dude. We lived an hour and a half away. We grew up in the middle of the woods. None of before I even moved in, I didn't even move into Eureka until I was in, 5th grade. Before then, we lived way out there. And I remember going to a school called Cedar Springs. And I only had one buddy in my whole class, every one of my classes, that even knew what hockey was. And, the further into the city you get, the more people that were into the Blues. The further out you get, no one even knows, no one thinks about hockey. But my dad took me to Cardinals games, and I was like, oh, cool, yeah, cool. But he took me to the Blues game, and he took me early for warm-ups, and we had glass right by the glass, which you have to do for young kids. And I remember Hawley cruising around scoring goals. I remember Chaser beating the hell out of somebody. Twister took his jersey off in a penalty box and flexed and he had that tattoo on his arm, Tony the Tiger. And I look at it as a child, and I go, I want to be that. What is this? What is going on here? These guys are so cool. They're like the sheriff, you know, Holy scoring goals. People are going crazy. I've never seen anything like it. And so I became obsessed with it, just like so many other kids my age that grew up in the early 90s watching the Blues, man. I got hooked. They got me. And I started rollerblading. And that's kind of how I started. I started rollerblading. And if you ask Patty Maroon and all those other guys too, they started rollerblading as well, because you can't just go skate everywhere. It costs money, and the rinks are too spread apart.
Unreal. So parents, if you're watching, get your kid to a game. Just take them to a game. They'll fall in love with it in person, right? And hockey players, they're the best athletes on the planet. I mean, I've met a lot of basketball players, baseball, football, but hockey, different level, right? But Jance, so were you a good player growing up, or were you always just trying to hit and fight? And was that always your game, or did you kind of evolve into that when you started playing and getting drafted?
Well, I think since I was like 2 years old, I wanted to hit and fight everybody. Like my parents were tough. My dad was a waterproofer. My mom went back. She had to go back to school, and she worked at Clayton Prison, you know, and she's hardcore, had to deal with all kinds of stuff. So I got that in my blood. I have an older brother. I wanted to beat up all his buddies just to show off that I was tougher than them. So it was always in my mind. But when I was playing, I started when I was like 11, man. So I started playing roller hockey, and I figured it out. I went to Huron Hockey School for a year. Then I made Chesterfield AA when Chesterfield Ice Rink, that you know, first started. I made that, and then I went to AAA right after that. So it was like boom, boom, boom. And now I'm going to Michigan all the time, but I was scoring goals. I was scoring a lot of goals, but I was also crushing guys. And Nasher, my dad, who we were struggling for money at the time too, they would drive me all the way up to Michigan for these tournaments. In the first shift of the tournament, I'd go out there like, yeah, let's go. I'd go around the net, and I'd hit somebody so hard, the kid would be down. I'd get booted out of the whole tournament. And then I got to turn around and drive all the way back. And my poor mother, who's like, why are you leaving every weekend, was like, what's going on here? And my dad had to explain. It just was a waste of money. And there's just a lot of ups and downs getting through that whole process. But it all worked out in the end because they believed in me.
Oh, you bet it did. You bet it. So you get drafted, Janssen, in the 4th round. I mean, is that kind of where you were pegged to go, or were you happy? Were you pissed about it? I know you got a good first training camp story, but like when you got drafted in the 4th round, I got drafted in the 10th. They don't even have that many rounds anymore.
10?
10th round, 242nd overall. I think it was the last pick in the draft. They always laughing. Hey, I love it. I love it.
That's hilarious.
But was
10th
it?
round, no, I had no idea. Nasher, I had no idea. I didn't even know what I was doing when I was the draft was in Toronto, which is great.
Were you there?
Perfect. But I'm meeting with different teams and stuff. And I remember when I played in Windsor, Marcel Pronovost, legend, was the scout there that Lou had in Windsor, and he would relay every one of my games to Lou Lamoriello. So I just remember seeing him in the corner. I remember the specific spot that he would sit in, because somebody's like, hey, that's a Devil Scout. And he was the nicest guy in the world. And I always remember seeing him in Windsor. And so I had and my agent knew that too. So they're like, hey, the Devils are really looking at you and whatnot. And I remember when I was at the draft, we had to meet with all these different teams. And it was just so funny. I was so aloof to so many different things. You got to remember, all these kids that I'm with are from Canada. All their buddies played hockey. You kind of know what's going on. You've heard of the Ontario Hockey League. You've heard of the CHL. I had no idea about anything, and it just happened so fast. So I'm just new to the game and bright-eyed. And I remember at 6 o'clock in the morning, I met with Lou and the Devils. And I remember walking in, opening this little tiny door. And it's a tiny little room, and they're all sitting there. Lou and, David Conti and all these important guys. And they're sitting there like this. You know, obviously they don't have any hats on, but their glasses are kind of leaned down, and they're looking into your soul. And I'm like, hi. And they're like, who do you think you play like? And I'm like, Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux combined, and no one laughed. And I'm like, oh God. And then they're like, no, who do you? I go, oh, I like to play like Ty Domi. And then Lou looks at me and goes, we don't like him because the year before that, asked Scotty Niedermayer who you're going to have on.
Yeah.
Remember Domi elbowed him?
Oh.
Yes. And so it's like I messed up, but I think they appreciated my wholesomeness, and so I figured that they were going to draft me. I didn't know what round it was going to be, but when it happened, it was beautiful. My parents were there. It was lovely, and they got stuck in Detroit that night, and my agent flew me home, and I partied at my house all night long, and we trashed it, and no one even cared.
All right, so you get drafted. The Devils, are you kidding me? First training camp, what was that like? Walking in, I mean, intimidating. Scott Stevens, Danico, I mean, all the legends were there. What was that like?
Intimidating. It was the most intimidating thing I've ever been through in my life. Pat Burns and Lou Lamoriello and Scotty Stevens and guys like Christoph Oliwa walking around with no shirt on. And I'm like, oh my God. I thought I was a killer in juniors. I thought I was Jack, taking my jersey off, flexing for everybody. I thought I was the big dog. I go in that damn locker room, and I'm looking around as an 18-year-old, and I'm like, these guys are men. They're men. And I'm like, oh, my God, I got work to do. Scott Stevens came behind me one time and grabbed me by the shoulders and just rubbed my shoulders. I don't know where I'm walking. It's so weird, but he just grabbed me by the shoulders. He goes, hey, kid. And his hands were so big, and I'm like, oh, like he could grab me and crush my skull. And I'm like, those are the guys I'm gonna have to deal with. Like, you got work to do. I don't care. You're beating up 19-year-olds and juniors. You're playing against men now, and it was very intimidating. And by the way, Nasher, back then, like nowadays in training camp, all the guys are like hanging out together. They're in the main locker room together. A kid that never played is hanging out with Braden Shin or whatever it is. Back then, no. You have to earn being around the big dogs. I'm stuck in a little storage room with the other
janitor's
guys.
closet.
And then you move up to the American League room. Then you move up and then you move up with the big dogs. That's how it is. Wake up call. You got to be a man now.
Unreal. Scott Stevens, that must have been nuts. So Brad May, do you have a little history with Brad May as well? And I know you fought everybody. Any tough guy that would drop the gloves, you obliged.
Yeah, but there was a couple guys I was scared of though, dude. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd fight all those. McGrattan, I'll go you, baby. Colton Orr, scared, but I'll go you. There was a couple guys I was like, oh, they're gonna get me. And that was Derek Bugard.
Oh.
I had nightmares about him, and no one else. Like really, honestly, maybe Georgie Larocque, but Derek Bugard scared the hell out of me because he was knocking guys out left and right, dude. Nasher, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
When he's catching everybody, he's stringing you out and catching you and hurting you and breaking your orbital bone and setting you back and probably taking years off your life with punches. So he freaked me out. And not to mention, at the time, the Blues played Minnesota like 50 times a year. Which is like, God, play Minnesota every year. They had John Scott, they had Derek Bugard, they had Chris Simon,
Matt
all
Johnson.
At one time. Like, what are we doing?
Oh.
So, listen, fighting guys like Brad May, who I love, awesome guy, respect, like that's cool. He's a lefty. We could go rights, we can go lefts. We're the same size. Let's go. Let's go toe to toe. We'll put on a show. But when I see a guy that's 6'9", like Boogie, who's going to string me out, he was the one guy that even if I wasn't playing him, I'd still have dreams about him. And that was a weird ordeal for about 4 or 5 years of my career.
So you get traded to the Blues. Obviously, I mean, you're a hometown kid. How insane was that? I mean, you had a great career with the Devils. They opened the door for you, and you ran through that door. I mean, the job you did as a tough guy, and not only that, you could hit Jance. That's what you had. So you didn't always go looking for the fights, right? the fights kind of came to you, which I think is a benefit for a tough guy. I wasn't a tough guy. I got speed bagged my entire career. Let's be honest.
You were
but
handsome.
I was handsome. Oh yeah. Look at that photo though. Like, those are legends right there. Chaser.
Look at that. Oh, Big Johnny Winsick.
The
That Chaser. Oh.
The T stop in front of the Bruins bench. Oh.
We see each other. You know, Nasher. I saw, by the way, your lovely daughter who works for the alumni. I see every single home game. Been seeing, I thought, like twice a week, just so you know. But everybody's so connected in St. Louis. It's so cool. I love how you just put those pictures up. But you know, all the alumni are always around. But yeah, no. Playing for the Blues was. It helped me set up for my career here, right? Like, I always want to come back to St. Louis and to be involved with the Blues for 3.5, 4 years. It was perfect. I had a house right next to my parents. We grew up in the little blue-collar part of Eureka, Missouri. And when we finally moved in there to go to high school, I bought the house when I signed with the Devils when I was 18. My neighbors moved out, so I bought the house right next to my parents. So everything that was happening was right next to my parents. They got to see everything that was coming in and out of the house. Oh my God!
Revolving door. Welcome to the National.
My mom and dad would look at me like, "We need to talk." Like, what do you do? What are you doing over there? And so they got to experience everything. It was awesome. Now people they know where you live too. So you'd have randoms always come up and knock on the door. I'd be in my underwear and I'd be playing video games like, oh God, somebody's coming. And I'd military crawl to my room and hide. But I love it. I loved it so much. It was awesome. The Blues were so cool. And it was perfect timing for me because I was with David Perron, Eric Johnson, TJ Oshie, Patrick Berglund, all these young kids. And the Blues sent us everywhere. We would go on every little thing. Like, we'd be promoted in Springfield, Missouri. They'd put us in a bus to go to Salem, Missouri to promote the Blues. It was come grow with us. And he had all these young guys. So you got around, you became really popular really fast, which is good for your brand. And you didn't think about it at the time, but you know, after hockey, it was actually really, it was a good experience because you got to meet all the Blues fans. You're always doing things. I was living 2 different lives. I had my buddies from high school dragging me there. My parents' family taking me there. The Blues doing this. It was crazy, and I loved every minute of it.
I love it. Was there I mean, you look at the Blues, right? You look at Twister, you look at Chaser, Rudy Postcheck. There were so many tough guys. Was that hard, though, for you to kind of, you know, like you're in the shadow of these guys. You're now the tough guy for the Blues. You had, who was the other guy? King. He was a killer, too. Oh, my God.
Oh, hell yeah. Great guy.
So many tough guys. But was that hard for you, or did you just relish in it? Go, I'm the new tough guy in town. I'm going to dominate.
It's business, baby. Like, I got to do my thing. Like, they did their thing. Okay, now I got to do my thing. And Ryan Reeves, who took my job, has to do his thing. And you know how that goes.
Jance, hey, one sec, Jance. We got a goal here, buddy. First ever in the National. First ever in the National for the kid, Daniil Boot, the man they call Cheeks. Oh, yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Congratulations to him. Look at how young he is.
Is his mom and dad in town?
No, he's been up for a few games now. He's
okay.
Yeah, the kid's playing well, man.
Let's see this. Oh, good for him. What a good feeling that is.
You remember your first, obviously. Oh, it's a backhand ripper.
Nice, kid. There you go.
Rolling.
Get that confidence in, baby.
Rolling. Puck bar
Good
down.
Look at that. See, just don't hesitate. Sometimes you got to rip it on net. Good for you, buddy.
There you go. That's something we didn't do a lot of right there, gents.
Yeah, but we still did it, and I'll never forget it, right? Like, I'll never forget my first goal.
What was it? Who was it on?
It's hilarious, actually. It took like 90 games. Nasher, I'm getting chirped by everybody. Other teams, my own team, my trainers, everybody's chirping me because it took 90 games to get my first goal, which is so embarrassing. But the goal I got a stupid tripping call, which I never get. I'm in the penalty box. Marty's making saves left and right on Ovechkin. Left and right. It's at home. I come out of the penalty box. Actually, the guy in the penalty box goes, "Cam, you're going to get one." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I'm going to sit the rest of the game because I took a stupid tripping call. And this is on YouTube. It's hilarious. I get out. Jay Pandolfo blocks the shot like, blah, kicks it right over to me. I skate down the right wing. Ovechkin could have took two more strides and like lift my stick and took the puck away, but he didn't. And I went down and took a slap shot bar down, and I stood there like it was just
You didn't know what to do. You're like,
didn't know
what do I do?
I'm like this. Ugh. Oh, I love it.
I love it, man. It's so awesome. So, hey,
good
Jans, tell
feeling.
us what you're doing now. You got a pod, a real successful podcast, man.
Yeah, Andy Strickland and I, he does TV for the Blues. We started this podcast right after the Blues won in 2019, and we get really good guests on. We chirp each other for about an hour and a half. We break down hockey. We talk about all kinds of stuff that's going on.
Jans, look at this.
What we got?
We found it.
There it is, baby. What's up?
We
What'd I tell
found
you?
it.
What'd I tell you?
You did. You didn't. Madden, John Madden. That's our assistant coach.
Yeah, baby. I love him.
He was
great to me.
Great dude.
Mad dog.
Oh,
The
white.
Mad dog.
Here it is. Let's see it again. Let's see it again.
See?
Oh, look at
Look
him
at
go.
Obi.
Look at you go. A slapper. A slapper. You don't see a slap shot anymore. You almost put that through the back of the net, brother.
Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, Obi could have probably poked it from me. 2 more strides. That's the old Obi. Then he figured out how to back check and they won a cup.
Oh, I know. I love it. Still getting it done. That 900 goal club. Are you kidding me? I didn't have that many goals in practice. So you always
He's
remember
so
your
cool.
first goal, Jans. What was your first fight? Who'd you fight first in the National Hockey
Darcy
League?
Tucker.
No way.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the helmet?
No, yeah, he got suspended. He took my helmet off, and I guess he hit me with it. I didn't even notice. And he's like making fun of me, like, because I got cut open. But it was a good fight. I kind of got. I tried to really catch him.
Oh yeah.
And I controlled him the whole time, but he did cut me open, and he's a warrior. And he was like mocking me on the way. It's on YouTube too. And then the refs booed him out of the game, and he was like, "Wait, what's going on here?"
Oh,
It's
there
hilarious.
it is.
There he is.
There's your eye.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's
I still got
nasty.
that scar, baby. I love you, Tux. He's
Oh,
an
yeah.
awesome dude.
Hey, he's a tough kid. For a kid that's 175 pounds, he chucks him. Like, I played with a guy, like, all of my junior career. I couldn't believe he got that tough in the National Hockey League. I couldn't believe when he was fighting you. I remember that fight like it was yesterday. It was right along the boards, I think, right by the bench.
Yeah, he didn't know. I forgot who it was on the team that played against me in juniors. And Tuck's like, "What? Who is that guy?" And I'm like, dude, he led the league in fighting majors, and I didn't tell you. Sorry about these. Like, thanks a lot, Dick. You know.
So your pod's going well, buddy. I'll tell you what, everyone has a podcast. I now have a podcast. It is so much work, dude. I respect the hell out of you, man. The job that you guys do, you know, the fun that you guys have had. You've had me on numerous times talking about Trevor Zegras. How'd that work out, by the way?
Oh,
Hey?
my.
How'd that
That's
work
why-
out?
Nasher, I'm like, anytime you need me to bring the heat, like, what do you need me to do?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know, you know,
Always
you're
a great teammate. You let me just run my mouth on your podcast for a couple weeks in a row, I think. I'm like,
We're going to blame that on Andy. That's Andy's fault.
oh yeah. Trevor Zegras still won't even look at me right now. He sees me between the benches. He's just lipping me off. I chased him down the hallway a couple years ago.
He needs to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, well, he's having a hell of a year, so it's a trade
Yes,
that
he
worked
is.
out for both teams, don't you think?
I think so. Absolutely. I love the Anaheim Ducks right now.
Cool.
You know, the whole everything's pretty interesting right now with the Olympics going on, different teams. Everything's so congested. You know, like the Blues, they're having a bad year, but they're still 3 points out. Like it's really weird how everything works right now. Very, very tight. You got a couple big dogs taking stride, and they're going with it. But there's a lot of competition, and I think that's somewhat healthy for the NHL as a whole.
Yeah, Jance, I got to ask you, you watch all those Blues games. I know my daughter tells me you're in the suite all the time. Thanks for being so good to her, by the way. You're one hell of a teammate. I wish I played with you back in the day. We would have had
I know.
probably way too much fun. But what do you think about Binnington? Team Canada, I mean, can they go with the guy? What do you think Armstrong's going to do?
Well, I think that he's been struggling. He looked good the other night. I look at it like he gets a lot of leeway because of what he did in the Four Nations. As an American, watching that final game, that gold medal game against Canada, and him standing on his head against Austin Matthews and all those backdoor plays with seconds to go, it was so frustrating. I saw the look in his eye. I've seen him do this before, obviously, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. If he wants to lock it down, he's going to do it. He has that ability. And so maybe he's very inconsistent so far in this congested schedule so far. I would say that you still are going to look at him like, if you need to shut the door, we got the guy that's proven himself. But this year's goofy. This team, the Blues this year have been very inconsistent in so many different ways. Not just the goalies, but in front of them, the scoring, you name it, they've had a problem one way or the other this year. But if I'm Team Canada, I'm looking like, listen, if we need to lock something down, it's going to be Jordan Binnington because he's proven it over and over again.
Yeah, you got to give him. You got to give him the net. You got to give him a short leash. I agree with you 1,000%. What he did in Four Nations was absolutely absurd. Big moments. That's when he plays his best hockey. But Janssen, I got to ask you, what do you miss most? I know you're having a lot of success. You're a fan favorite. People love you everywhere they go. When I'm around and I'm in town, it's unbelievable. I'm not surprised by it because you spend so much time giving your time to the fans and to the kids and saying hello. And I mean, it doesn't take a lot. But what do you miss most about the NHL?
Probably, I got a little taste of it again doing radio with the Blues, just hanging on the road and being like, where are we going tonight? Okay, down in the lobby in 20, go relax. Make your phone call real quick. Brush your teeth. Let's go down the lobby. Let's go hang out. Which place we going to? Oh, we're going to go to this badass sushi place up the road. Let's all get together. Let's walk up there, chirp each other, do our thing. We're all looking sharp, hanging out. That stuff. Maybe getting into a good fight at home and looking to the crowd like, blah, getting that euphoric high. It just, you can't replicate that. You could try, and I suggest you don't, but you can't replicate that you know what I mean, Nasher? That high you get when you go down and you hit a big hit, the crowd's going crazy, another big hit, boom, you have a really good game, and you're out and about in St. Louis after the games, and everybody's like, you did good. Like, I kind of miss that. Although you get perks doing stuff that we do anyway, so it kind of balances that out a little bit. But I do miss going toe-to-toe. Not that I want to fight anybody now. I'm a wimp now. I hang with my puppy dogs. I do. I'm a wimp. Like, it is what it is. But that feeling you get after a good fight, maybe after a goal, after a good shift, where the crowd's all staring at you and you're like, what's up? Like, you're never going to replicate that ever again in your life. And the high that you get from that, again, you're never going to see that again. But you could balance it in a way, but that's what I miss the most, I think.
Yeah, I had a lot of losses.
Does that make sense?
I had a lot of losses, Jen, so I never really knew what that feeling was like, but I can tell you.
Yeah, you did. Wait. Wait. You would have 5 hits in one shift, and the crowd's going crazy, including all the women, going nuts, watching you with your hair flowing back. Don't play with me. I was there watching you. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, you didn't want to be me. You wanted to be Chaser and Twist. That's the right choice. I can tell you. Yeah. I can tell you that. But yeah, I certainly stirred it up, and those guys cleaned it up. But who was that guy for you, Jance, when you were in St. Louis? Was there a guy that was running around stirring things up for you? Because I know, with Chaser and Twister, those guys were like, you make my job, and Reed Lowe, make my job so easy, because I just go out there, it's not staged anymore. I'm pissed right off because that guy's beating the wheels off of you, so now I'm going to beat the wheels off of him.
I mean, nobody, really. So, like, there wasn't really a guy that went around and caused things for me. Like, I had to do that myself, really. I really did. Like I don't know. Like I'm thinking like did Osh maybe would reverse hit a couple guys, but like if you're gonna try to fight Osh, like that, you know, he would have to do something drastic for the other tough guy to go fight TJ Oshie.
Right.
He knows that we already have a thing going on. You look at him, you're going me one way or the other. So I would have to cause that myself. And, you know, sometimes you couldn't. And sometimes the game would just be silent. But no, we didn't. I don't know if I really had anybody, man. And, you know, I don't know if I needed it. Like I wanted to cause everything, you know, and then turn around like, who wants to do something? So
and you did, and you
but
did.
the game's changed. Like even when you played, like it was way crazier, and then it slowed down a little bit when we played, and then boom, boom, boom. So just you know how that goes.
Yeah. What do you think of the health of the game right now? Like where is it at? Fighting in the NHL, all of it. Where do you see the game?
I think it's very entertaining. I don't know. Like I think it's great. Like the fights aren't. Well, if you have Olivier, Delorier, McDermott, Reaver, Rimpey, I know his hand was messed up. Like you're gonna have a couple good tilts, but the tilts are like cross-check in front of the net, boom, turn around, throw a couple punches down. I don't mind that. They're still hitting in the game. Guys are crushing each other. You watch the playoffs; they're very, very entertaining. The superstars are great. You got 18, 19-year-old kids dominating.
Yeah.
I'm entertained by hockey right now. I really, really am, and I'm pumped about this Olympics. Hopefully the rink's okay, which is really odd. Figure that out, Italy. I don't know what's going on over there, but let's get going. So I'm excited to see who's going to take over. Is Sweden going to do something?
Yeah.
U.S. Canada going to go toe to toe?
Yeah.
I think U.S. is looking to try to make a move here and take another step to be the big dogs. They're not there yet. Canada's there. There's no disputing that. But if they win the U.S. wins the Olympics this year, you're going to take a big jump, and there's going to be a lot more chirping going on.
Well, I sure hope you guys have a sequel to the miracle here soon. But hey, Jance, I gotta tell, the best part of the NASHCAST is a Nash Crasher, and we have someone who wanted to say hello to you.
Hello, girls. Hello, girls.
What is
this
going on?
Is this the NASHCAST? Is this the NASHCAST? Is that Cam? Oh my God, is that Cam Janssen? He's my favorite player. Oh my God, he's tough. He is the toughest. Oh my God, if I was just a little younger. Oh my God, I just love him. He's my favorite.
Is that my
Look at him.
dead
Oh my
grandmother?
God. Stexy, look at him. Oh my, he
That's
looks
one
good
of
as
your
the
own
devil.
kills, Jance.
What
If he
is
was
that
dressed
thing?
up like one of those at home, oh boy. Woo!
Nasher, that's
You
the
get
old Cam.
nasty looking devil. You would.
Are you from Windsor?
He's from Eureka.
Well, that's only when I go across the river, I'm on the pole over there. But, you know, that was a couple years ago. I haven't been on the pole at the Diamond $1 Million for probably 2 years.
I know who this is. I know who this is.
Oh, you
That's
sure
the big-
do.
is that the big
I know
boy?
because you left your boots under my bed, honey.
Is that the big boy
You left your boots under my bed.
with our barbecue sauce that we have together? Take it off, Twister.
No,
What's up? That's hilarious.
no, big boy.
What's up?
How's it going, man?
That's why. Hey, Nasher, I told you, he got me into it.
I
That's
know.
who it is right there.
I know.
That's
Twister,
who it is
he was
right
just
there.
going off. He's like, Tony Twist got me into hockey. He's the reason I fell in love. He was in the penalty box. He was flexing away his old tattoo. I thought
My
you'd come on
boy.
here topless.
That's my boy.
You mean you gotta love it, right? You gotta love it. I had my wife beater on like you did in the Clark show, but I didn't want to embarrass you.
I didn't know you owned a shirt, Twister. I've never seen you without a shirt.
Well, yeah, actually, I got a really good tan, and I had this bunny tattooed on me. So, yeah, you're right. Still in it to win it,
Oh,
kid.
Nasher, we hang all the time, man. We hang all the time. We got some good stuff going on in St. Louis.
Hey, Jance, did you pick that up from Twister? Twister used to go out on the bench and pregame skate. He'd pretend to tape his stick. He'd have a little string, little friggin' bikini on. You did the same thing, didn't you?
Same damn thing. I knew exactly what he did. He'd come and intimidate. Even in the pregame skate, he'd go out there and intimidate. And then, after a fight, you take it off and you're looking around. Oh yeah, that's what I. It's the funniest thing in the world. I love it.
You got to get in the other guy's head. The best place to do it is pregame skate. Get a little Mr. T workout, get all jacked up, get a little shine, and taping my skate, not my stick. Like I need tape on the stick. It's a double shot. Like I'm taping my stick, but I don't need it. So it's kind of funny that, and it's all just to plant the seed so you don't sleep during the afternoon because I don't want you to because I'll sleep well.
Twister, I thought you used a broom back in the day when you played.
No, I used a hockey stick, but I used to make 1 and 2 and 3 pucks. So I graduated something a little bit better, but I still made. But the safest place during practice was in front of the net if I was shooting. So
Hey, Jance, I'll never forget my second game. My first game was against Dallas, and I played with Twister. My second game was on the road in Toronto, and Twister goes to me, he goes, Nasher, just so you know, you have diplomatic plates tonight. You can do whatever the hell you want. Literally, I encourage you to do whatever the hell you want because you make my job easier. You can slap Matt Sundin around and Ty Domi won't do a thing. You watch. Watch how he comes and stretches next to me on the blue line. And it was dead true. I did whatever I wanted that night.
Yeah, you'd have those hits, those 5 hits in one shift, getting the crowd going. And then you'd troll by the bench and look at their bench, and no one would say anything because the big boy's looking over there too. It's a damn good feeling.
It was a lot more fun doing it, man. Nasher, it was fun to have you on the 4th line because I told you got to put me to work. It's been a while now, so go stir it up. You don't have to do anything. Just go stir it up, young man. Please, whatever you do.
Go play. Go do whatever you want. Chirp the hell out of anybody.
Yeah,
You're okay.
I remember though, and then I came to Chaser and Twister. I said, would you stop getting in there all the time? Because I'm trying to draw penalties. Like I'm trying to get our power play to go to work. And then how'd that end up for me, Twister? Not so well.
Well, of course not. You're not stealing work out of our game. You got to go figure it out, big boy. Because, if you go out and do that, you're gonna bring us to the game.
Oh yeah, I got my face caved in is what happened. Brendan Shanahan and Twister and Chaser were nowhere to be found. So that was the last time.
That was your fault. That wasn't our fault, big boy. Come on now, you did that, not us.
All on my own. But I told you to stay out of it, and I should have told you to get your ass in there.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When you did that was all on you, chum. It was all on you. You are diplomatic plates, but you decided to take a different run at it.
Oh, yeah, the big Irishman. Holy, did I finish 4th in that one?
Oh, I don't think you even qualified. You didn't even qualify.
Yeah.
They took you out of the program. They took you out of the program after that.
Hey, you going to watch that Jake Paul Joshua fight? Or do you think that's just going to be bogus fake stuff?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua?
Nope, never watched. I was busy, wrapping presents for the kids. I got a big day coming up.
Oh, I love it.
I get you.
Twister, I got to ask you, the staged fights. I can't remember. I don't think you had a lot of staged fights. I mean, you were
Hold back your ass up. What do you mean by staged?
Like you like to fight mad. You didn't did you like the stage fight when it was like, all right, Probert's coming to town or Rob Ray's coming to town? It was just gonna happen, or did you want to get pissed off?
Oh, you might have confused me being pissed off with me getting into the character that I needed to be. I never fought mad. I fought intense, and the reason I did that is because you make mistakes when you get upset. You make mistakes when you're mad. If you're in the zone and you've rehearsed fighting that guy 200-300 times over the course of the last 2 days, you know what? You don't need to be mad because you're in operation mode. I'm going to work, and when you go to work, you don't screw around, and you certainly don't go mad. There's no emotions, zero emotions outside of getting yourself elevated and getting yourself in a mood to do it. In the game of fighting, if you fight emotionally, you fight mad, you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball there, young man.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Jance was telling me there was one guy he was a little scared to fight, and that was the boogeyman. Was there anyone for you, Twister? I mean, I think in my mind, from what I've seen, and I saw Rob Reagan, his face caved in, literally caved in at your fist. But was there a guy for you, Twister, that you were kind of like, oh shit, not him again?
Well, not a single one, buddy, and I'll tell you why. There was, I know as a fight, you ask any guy in the UFC, any guy in the boxing industry, any athletes in the top of the fighting game, he'll tell you the same thing. You put everybody on an even plane. Once you put somebody on a pedestal, or you stand on a pedestal looking down, or you put him on a pedestal looking up, you've already lost. Why? Yep. Because you're not prepared. That man can do everything you can do, and you need to be prepared no matter what. You got to fight. You got to fight whoever it is as hard as you fought the guy before or harder. So no, there was absolutely no. Never have I ever put into context who was 1, 2, 3, or 4. That'll be the next question. Now I played with some nut bars and played against some and enjoyed doing it more than others with guys, but I was never afraid of doing it. No.
Wow. Who do you think? I know it's a big topic of conversation when we're all out, but who do you think? Both you guys. Who do you think is the toughest guy that ever played?
For me, I'll tell you right now. That's an impossibility. It's an impossibility because every era had one. And for you to go and say that, you know, if you were to put the 68 Blues in play, Noel Picard was a killer. Noel Picard was an absolute slayer. His hands were as big as a bunch of bananas, and his give a shit factor couldn't get any lower. And on the ice, he didn't have a morality meter. But if you were to put him into genres next, then, you know, he'll stack up to a point, right? Because the game changed, the players changed, the evolution of the game changed, and so did the fight strategies. So it's pretty unfair, and it's almost impossible throughout the entire NHL legends. There is a myriad of tough guys that went through each generation. To try to qualify one that's better than the other, it's damn near impossible.
But there is a tier, Twister, and you're on the top tier.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You're in the top tier with the big boys that are going to crush your soul, that are going to crush your orbital bone, and you're going to get hurt. You're in the top tier, and that is a fact. And you're with the big dogs.
There is tiers. Sure.
You're there. And so, and you know, the smaller guy, I mean, there's just different layers to it. But anybody, just like he said, Twister's right on this. And I told you about being scared of Bugard. And Bugard was scary because I don't know if my game plan would have been difficult with him because of the height difference. And he'll punch through you. And I just would have been jammed up a little bit.
Yeah, you can punch the other head, Jans.
What's that?
You could punch the other head.
Well, like, if you feel like that you're too confident, you're going to get buckled by it. Any one of those guys will catch you with one. And, you know, Twister got caught a couple times. All the big boys, Probert got caught a couple times. They all did. Anybody can knock out anybody when you're in that top tier.
Love it. Love it. Twister, one last fight. Who would you want to fight?
Oh, I got a list. I got a list. I have a list because obviously that'll never come to fruition because at 58 years old, there's no chance. But I tell you, there is a list of guys that I saw that have come up through the ranks that I'm thinking, God, if I could only match up, that would have been just so orgasmic. But that'll never come to fruition. And you're going to ask me what the list is, and I'll keep that close to vest because, yeah, it's extensive. I got some favorites.
Jans, how about you, buddy?
Before I answer that, I will say there's a bunch of minor league guys that were killers, Nasher, that, maybe grinded a lot in the minors, and they didn't make the NHL, like a Morasti, that were so tough that you could put in any category. But I will say, and a guy that I grew up idolizing with Twister, I don't want to fight Twister. I would do bad against him. He was too strong. He would have threw me around a little bit too much, and it would have been like riding a bull, and I wanted to last. But I love and he's a warrior. Me and Kelly Chase, who I idolize, if we're both in our prime, I think we would have gone for 3.5 minutes and switched hands and put on a show for everybody, and it just would have been great, because we were the same size. He could throw both. I just look at that back in the day. And like maybe a guy like Chris Neal too. I never fought him. Same size, will throw hands, both hands. But Chaser's still fighting everything right now too, man. Yeah. And we see Twister and I see him all the time. We're all together here in St. Louis with the alumni. It's such a cool thing, man. Yeah. We love it in St. Louis, and we all support each other, dude. We really do.
You guys are the absolute best. You're like brothers. The alumni we have there with the St. Louis Blues. But Twister, how is our boy Chaser doing? And make sure you give him a big hug for me.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now, and I've said it, and I've said it continually. He's the toughest man that I know, and I take that to be a huge. That's saying a lot. I can't imagine for a second, and I've tried to put those shoes on, but my feet aren't big enough. And he's never given up in any way, shape, or form. He is plunging through it. He's being very vulnerable through the whole thing. He's out in the open. He's putting himself, out there, talking about it, and that's tough in itself. While you're battling a life-changing disease. And on top of it, his head is strong as his body. He's headstrong. Once you quit thinking, your brain it's a muscle. And when you stop and slow down, you don't think as much. All right, the muscle starts to fail. If that so be the case right now, he's on steroids because that brain of his is going full tilt. And he's always positive. He's on it. He's taking one day at a time. If there's a poster child or a poster person, a poster trans, I don't know what you want to call it. It's anybody who has that. It would be the idol would be Chaser. And I'll tell you, because he encompasses and embodies both the strength to do it physical wise, and he's doing battle with it in the head, meaning he's out doing other things. He's not letting it weaken him, and he's doing it properly. So, you asked how he's doing. He's trudging through. He's having difficulties. Nasher, as you well know, if you go to the same fight over the course of 2 years and you win it, and then you only find out you lost on a technicality, and you got to go back to again, you win it, and then you lose on a technicality, and this happens like Groundhog's Day. You start to lose a little faith, but not him.
No. And he's raising money. Nasher,
I know.
He's raising money for Siteman's and cancer research like you can't believe. He's working harder than anybody in this city, and he's going through what he's going through. It's just, we got to give him a shout out, and we all love him. So
yeah. Well, I love you guys, boys. I so appreciate the time. I hate to say it, I got Scott Niedermayer coming on the show next, boys. So
hold on, you got Scott
Get him
Niedermayer?
on. Is he waiting?
No, not yet.
Good. Don't have him wait.
Hey, Nasher, you better go get your hair done because he's a pretty good-looking guy. You might be the second best-looking guy in that room. I know you got a little vanity going on there. You might want to get some push-ups in. Give yourself a little makeup over there. Give your hair a coif and a tosh.
Oh, he's got
maybe
the
give
makeup
that teeth
on.
of yours. Look at his
studio
Look at the toupee. It's a toupee. It's an old XL7.
Jesus. Well, go give your teeth a douche too, because they might not be as bright as they. And hold on, never mind about the teeth. Your nose covers them.
I can smoke a cigar in the shower. All right, it's time to go. This is my show, not yours.
Holy shit! Is that a wall of urinals? I want to pee in your mouth.
All right, boys. See you guys.
I love you guys.
Love you guys.
See you, dudes.
Thanks, boys.
All right, there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. What a personality. I honestly think he's one of the best dudes that I'd never actually played with him, but he's one of the best dudes to play, man. He's just full of life, full of energy. You should see this guy at the alumni games, folks. Like he is just buzzing around the locker room, in the showers. He's just chomping at the bit. Your ears bleeding by the end of the show. Like he's infectious, right? That energy is the epitome of what a great fourth liner was like. Energy guy, good in the locker room, good on the ice, stick up for your teammates. How do you not love this guy? Anyone who's that full of life has my vote.
Yeah, that's what it's about. And that's one of my favorite things about hockey, Tyson, is that it allows different, types of athletes a chance on the team, right? You don't necessarily have to be the most skilled or the most gifted naturally, but if you control the controllables, if you have a great attitude every day and you do the little things right, there's a spot for you. And that's one of my favorite things. I was a huge Blues fan growing up. I think I've said that before, but like I was a really big Blues fan like through high school into college. Like there's a St. Louis Blues onesie like 3 feet from me over here it's like buried in my closet somewhere.
They got my number 9 on the
But
back of it, folks. Come on, be honest.
no, not a chance. Not a chance. No
We can
way.
wear them
I'm
when
not
we do
sleeping
radio
in
games
anything that
together.
says Tyson Nash on it.
We'll have a snuggie, me and you, when we do radio together. A number 9
Well,
snuggie.
the blue stuff is buried deep, but it's still there. It's still there. So it's cool for me to see to hear from these blues legends. Like he's still a legend there. Didn't score a lot of goals, but
Yeah.
still a legend there in the middle of that great alumni community. But Tyson, I know you're coming back to Salt Lake City. What in September in February, the 2nd and
Oh
the
yeah.
4th coming up, our last couple days
Yep.
before Olympic break.
That's right, buddy. Actually, I'm flying in early. I'm flying February 1st, coming in to enjoy the old Lake Effect. So I'll be back there as usual. Matthew Barnaby is my co-host, so I cannot wait. I don't know him from Adam. I've never met him. Obviously, we played against each other for a long time. So I am so anxious, nervous, excited just to kind of hang with him because I've heard nothing but great things about the guy. He's so excited to come to Salt Lake. He's literally blowing my phone up. He cannot wait to come to see the building, see the energy, the environment. Because everyone, even when you played, you're still a fan of the game, right? And you're watching games, and you got a new team in a new city, and guys want to see what it's all about. So he wants to take me up skiing. So we're gonna hit maybe Park City when he's in town on the day off between the NASHCAST, which by the way will be February 2nd. We're gonna do some skiing up in Park City on the 3rd, and then we have another NASHCAST on February 4th as well. Guests soon coming. We're working all that magic out as we speak. At a few cancellations, but we also want to know what you guys think. Who you guys want to see? Like, reach out to us on Twitter, reach out to us on Instagram. Tell us who you guys want for us to have on the show, who you would find interesting. Maybe it's a diamond in the rough in Salt Lake that we haven't uncovered yet that you want to hear from.
Yeah.
I don't know, but let us know. But I hope you guys all enjoyed Cam Janssen as much as I did. I loved his Lou Lamoriello stories, by the way, as well, on his draft day interviews. Those were priceless. And again, thank you to Cam Janssen for his time as well, folks.
Yeah, no doubt. That's going to be a 4-day ripper for you
Oh,
to
I
start
know.
in February. You're going to need that Olympic break. You're going to
Yeah.
need that Olympic break.
Yeah.
But
Dry
can't
January will be
wait for all
long
that.
gone.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, hey, thanks again for everybody for listening. Remember to follow us on Instagram, NASHCAST Official. Like Tyson said, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments who you want to hear from interview-wise, guest-wise over the next couple weeks. But we're in the dog days here, Tyson. This is the big stretch here. Mammoth gotta make some hay and gotta make the most of this homestand. But we'll see everybody next week. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to Cam Janssen.